it's down to about 2,000. So
That's still
sometimes
good.
I
That's
try
not
to
bad.
figure out to find out exactly what I'm doing that is wrong because, I envy the fate of people who easily have 200, 400,000 views.
Yeah, I
And
know. I know the feeling. But let me see your channel. Send it, email it to me. I love to see it.
okay, I'll do that. I'll
Is
do
there any way we can enable the chat?
that. Not on my end actually, because
Mm.
it used to work perfectly. It is still unable right now, but I don't know
Because I
whether
don't
on
see
your
any
end you're
messages.
able to
Yeah,
see it.
I don't
But
see any
they
messages.
used to have just one main channel for the chat. So everything that the student posts, we can see it, you can see it, I can see it, and every other participant can see it. But they recently made a change. I don't understand exactly the rationale for that change. They made a
Yeah.
change so that there are different sections. So you have to click on every attendee who posts something to see it, and it doesn't work. I'll send an email to them as well. You can do that also since AIU, that's you. You can send them an email, but I'll do that on my end as well
Okay.
to let them know that this system doesn't work really.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna admit everybody at this time if you allow me to do so.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
All right.
there we go. This is the time again, ladies and gentlemen, for our daily academic meeting, and I am very, very glad you are here with us on this Monday, July the 14th, 2025. I want to first recognize the first attendees, the first five who decided to join us today. We're talking about Abdullah Ibrahim Mohamed, Kwawo Luben, Ismail Adebola, Dr. Vedastus Gerhard Milinga, and then Karen Thomas. Thank you very, very much for giving the signal for other people to follow suit. I welcome everybody, of course, especially as today we are getting ready to dive into the arena of digital marketing. I know you all advertise somehow, whatever it is, can be your business, can be your relationships, can be just routine video posting on different social media. And when you don't see the result, you become somewhat frustrated. No matter what it is, you want people to see, you want people to recognize you. And today we're going to do just that. We're going to see exactly what truly works in organic marketing when you don't have enough likes, you don't have enough views. Um we're going to learn how to create visibility, how to build trust, and eventually generate leads towards whatever your ultimate goal is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much again for joining us on this Monday. I hope you enjoyed this session that's going to be presented by our subject matter expert in that field of digital marketing. We're talking about Miri Lenoff. Good morning, Miss Lenoff.
Hi, good morning. Always so nice to be here, Dr. Valsin. Thank you for the introduction.
Right.
So, I think we're gonna get started. I know the chat is not enabled, and we tried to enable it, but we weren't able to do it. So, just if you have any questions, just raise your hand, and we will get back to you at the end of the presentation. So I'm assuming for a lot of people, it's always one of those things where you see a video or you see a post on social media and it has like hundreds of thousands of views or millions of views, and you're like, why not me? What am I doing wrong? And it's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's just that whenever things go viral, they have a specific recipe that it's very hard to crack. You need to have a good hook. You need to get people to be engaged. You need good editing, or you just need to entertain. So sometimes you see videos of people just staring into space and it has millions of views. And you're like, how does that happen? And it's because they've been consistent. It's because there's a recipe for success. But what happens if you don't know what that is? And it would be
Mhm.
impossible for me to show you what that recipe for success is, because you need to be consistent. We need to be working together over the long term to really see what you're doing. What is your market? What are people doing? And in the previous classes, we've done a few of these already. If you go to the previous classes, which they're available if you need help, I think they're on the YouTube channel. If Dr. Valsin can point us in the right direction, if that's not correct, but I think they're there. And you just have to Google, that, so that you can see the first class of what is digital marketing, what is organic marketing. Um, last class we talked a little bit more about AI. So everything has kind of like a system, and there is a recipe for success. But what happens if you don't even know what the recipe is? And if you're not looking to be consistent and you can't post every single day, 5 times a day, like many people are telling you, and you don't get any likes, you don't get any views. Well, what we're going to go over today is what actually works in organic marketing, no matter how many times a day you post. And it's actually something very simple that can take you 15 minutes a day. So it's about building momentum without posting every single day, every single hour. Okay. And I know that sounds insane, but the promise of the class is to show you how to build this real momentum, even if your content gets no likes and no views and no comments. You're going to learn how to focus on conversations, not metrics that are not important. And you're going to implement a low pressure strategy that turns visibility into actual clients, or if you're building a personal brand, into that. So there's a lot of different things that people do on social media nowadays. It's not just to sell, it's also to just come out to show who you are as a person. So even if you have not been posting regularly and you feel invisible, don't worry, you're not alone. Um, the truth is that most people just don't like, comment, or even watch, and yet some creators are still turning that content into results. So we're going to talk about the types of content that you actually need to create so you're not guessing anymore, how to turn a dead post into a great DM, and a simple weekly plan that will get you clients with just two posts and 15 minutes of engagement. Okay. Um, so this is kind of like our outline for today. I've already showed you a common misconception that people often have. We're going to talk about why social media engagement is kind of broken and how to fix it, what actually builds trust in clients or conversations, and how to have this quiet conversion strategy of being visible and being yourself without having to pretend you're somebody else, and long engagement to see how you can be more successful if you're not successful yet. And again, I told you about the spending 10 to 15 minutes a day. That's really all it takes. Okay. If you know what you're doing. Okay, so the first thing is why social media is broken. There's a lot of competition out there, especially with AI. There are AI tools that push content, even if it's not good. They just push content, and they think that by just pushing content all day, every day, that something is going to spark, and you're just left hanging, praying to the social media gods, hoping that things will work. Or you take you 6 months to a year to see what works. And if you go back to the other classes, I kind of show you kind of how you have to do the research to see what it is that you're posting, to make sure that it actually is based on a viral idea. It's not just you coming up with content and saying, oh, my audience needs this. Then I'm just going to post about it. So the whole point of social media is to be social. It's not just to send things to the clouds and just pretend things are going to work. But the thing is that most people watch silently. And I want you guys to take a moment, because a lot of times when we're on social media and we're just scrolling down, what do we see? We see that a lot of people are just, you're just looking at content, you're just watching videos. If something interests you, you're going to watch for a longer period of time. But most often, you're not clicking to like, or you're not even commenting. Sometimes they need to tell you in the video to comment things. And why is this important? Because people think that people are not watching, where a lot of times, even if they see that you have a video uploaded or posted or a post, um, it's enough for you to say, okay, this person is active. Now, you do have to know the real outcomes of what happens. So, like on Instagram, get if you get 30 to 60 views, maybe you get one reply or one like. So the outcomes on the right hand side over here, you're seeing that maybe the people that are clicking, that are liking, that all of that, it's based on, about 15% of your followers that view it. If you get lucky, a lot of it on TikTok is mostly passive scrolling. You're not going to get a lot of people that like it. On LinkedIn, it's a little bit more because it's more of a platform where people engage with one another and there's not that endless scrolling. So you might get a few comments, but again, other people are still watching. So you don't have to worry so much about how many people are liking and how many people are commenting on your post or sharing it. It's more about just being out there, because this is going to set you up for the next stage that we're going to talk about. The whole point of this, and we talked about in the previous class, so you should definitely go back to check it, is that you want people to join your email list, because we don't own social media channels. We're guests. Even if you have a million followers at any time, they can kick you out because you violated the terms of service or you did something that you didn't even know that you did. So you just have to be careful and bring people into your email list as much as you can, because that will also allow you to have a more directly relationship with them. And you will definitely get a lot more outcomes out of it, because you're gonna get people that are gonna open your email more often than social media. And then when it comes to the DMs, it's actually even better, because you actually are having conversations with people. So the social media metrics really only show you the public interaction, not what actually drives business, because you don't really see the success. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was posting one video per day for a whole year. And sorry, I was going live once a week on Facebook for a whole year. And what happened was that for some reason, I thought I was talking to nobody in the beginning, because honestly, like, it's tough, I was doing my videos on Fridays because I was always pushing it off every single week because I needed to do it. But it was a personal challenge that I had. And when the year ended and I reached my goal of going live every single day, I did get clients from there, so that was great. But there was one person that really exemplified what I'm trying to get, what the point that I'm trying to make, that most people watch silently. I walked into my kids' gymnastics class one day, and there was this mom, and she said, "Hey, listen, I haven't seen your videos in a while." And to me, I was like, "Wait, hold up. I didn't even know I had you as a Facebook friend. So thank you for telling me." Like, obviously, I was thinking this in my mind. And then I replied and I said, "Yeah, were you watching the videos before?" She's like, "Yeah, I used to watch your videos. I don't know why you're not posting anymore." And that just shows you, I never got a like from her, a comment, a share, nothing. But she was watching and she said, "Yeah, you remember when you talked about this, and that?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you actually were watching. Like, this is insane." And a lot of people, it's not just one person that does it, everybody does that. If she's the one telling me that she doesn't see my videos anymore, it's because other people are experiencing the same thing. So this is just an example to show you that even if you think that nobody's watching, there is somebody watching. And all you have to do is stay consistent, because this is the basis and this is really the root of everything, because of what we're going to talk next, okay? Now, the solution to this is not, don't look at the media metrics, because they only show the public interaction, not what actually drives businesses. And use this to your advantage to stop hiding behind the posts. You're not invisible, you're just measuring the wrong things. So what should you be measuring? I'm going to show you next, okay? Now, People don't need more posts from you, but they need more interaction with you. It's not about putting out advertisements out there. It's about connection, okay? Because no matter what you sell, who you are, you always want to have that connection and build the trust, because that's going to build the momentum that we're talking about. So, what works instead of posting every day? Conversations. So DMs, comments, replies, content with emotion, clarity, and a clear call to action. CTA is call to action. Consistency, not frequency. If you post something every single day, every single hour, it might not and probably will not get results. But if you actually sit down, do the research, and post something that is valuable, it's going to be way better than posting every single day. And here are some examples of post types that still work even without getting likes. A post that says, here's what I used to believe. And then you talk about what you used to believe. These are myths, these are things and misconceptions that people might have about you or your business. And then you say, and this is what actually works. An authority post. 3 things that actually helped me grow, or 3 things that gave me the momentum I needed. And if you notice with these 2 examples, they have some type of curiosity, because well, that's what you want. You want people to be curious about what you have to say. The next one is an offer post. If you want help with this, reply or DM me when ready. So that's obviously at the end, that's a call to action. And you don't have to be posting the offer post every single time. You want to mix them weekly, repeat that what resonates, and ignore the like count or the comments. Don't worry about that. Now, not only this as a post, but most of these platforms have stories. And stories is another way to bring that conversation in. It's not just posting things, but it's reusing that as a story so that you can be in more places at the same time. Okay. So these are the vanity metrics that you want. How many conversations are you starting on a daily basis? Because if you're starting at least 10 conversations, then there's definitely going to be more momentum on your account than anything else. And now you might be wondering, well, who do I talk to? Is it your clients? Is it your peers, your friends, your family? And the answer to that is your peers. Because your peers, even they're not competitors, because everybody's different. And when one of your peers has made a sale, that doesn't mean that they're not going to buy from you. It's like the example of the bakery or a restaurant. When you're going to see a lot of times that the pizza shops are next to each other because they know that people are coming in and they have options when they visit a plaza or a place that has different options of the same thing. So don't look at your peers as your competitors. Look at your peers as helpers, because if you comment on their post and you start a conversation to see how they're doing and be actually human, they're going to do the same. So all of a sudden, once you start to do this process, you're going to have a lot of likes and a lot of comments because you are the one putting yourself out there and reaching out first. Okay. So again, you don't have to post every day. As just post as much as you can, but it doesn't have to be every day, and focus more on the conversations. And I'm going to explain how this kind of works, okay? So this is the core message, that you don't need to go viral. You just need to get visible to the right people and talk to them, okay? So let's say Monday you do a connection or story. On Thursday, you do a soft offer or a client example. And daily, you reply to 3 stories, you leave 5 comments, and you start one DM with a past lead or with a peer or someone. So in 10 to 15 minutes, if you do this every single day, then that means you're going to leave close to, let's say, 35 to 50 comments, because this is at least 5 comments, right, per day. So 7 times 5, 35. And then say you can do a little bit more. So 35 to 50 comments, let's say, per week. How do you think that's going to work as opposed to posting every day? This is a much better strategy because you're going to conversations and you're going to put yourself out there first, as opposed to posting every single day. This is a lot better to create that connection that you want and to get an idea of what people want to share with you. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about what you say, right? Because it's kind of weird when people send you a message, and I can show you so many examples of people that send you a DM, and they're like, "Hey, I'm running this workshop and I would love for you to come." First of all, hi, how are you? What do you do? Why are you messaging me? Why are you even messaging me? Is this like an AI agent that is just messaging so many people? And what's funny about it is that in some of my social media platforms, I have my maiden name, and a lot of times I get people to say that, which I know that nobody knows me as that. I only have a maiden name because my family, so that they can find me easily. So this is not the way to do it. Just keep it simple and be human. Don't be a robot. With AI, what we are craving as human beings is more connection and more human language, not somebody who is messaging you left and right and is giving you all of these different AI things that you don't really need. It's really about having that human conversation, just like you would go out on a date with someone, and you want to get to know them. It's the same thing. You're not going to ask them to marry you on the first date, right? That would be kind of weird. And I think a lot of people will probably run away if that was to happen, right? You'll be like, no, thank you. I don't even know you. See ya, right? So be human, get to know them, understand what they need. What are some of their challenges? Um, See their content and reference it in the DMs. Like, for example, hey, I saw your comment. Are you and you mentioned something about whatever the case might have been on their post. Are you still stuck on that? Or are you still stuck with it? Like, whatever it is, you want to reference it back to their content. Um, Say, for example, they posted something about a conversation that you had with a friend, and you want to bring that in. So you can say, "Hey, this reminded me of the conversation I was having with a friend. I thought of you. Thank you so much. How's everything going?" Right? So you're starting these conversations. Get to know them. Who are they? Are they people who have their own business? Are they people who work in a big company? Even if you don't think that they can buy from you, you're really just qualifying them and you're getting to know them. Here's another example. You popped into my head, want me to walk you through what I did for somebody else. Again, you don't want to say this right at the beginning, obviously. You want to make sure that this is part of a conversation. So it's very similar to talking to people in real life. If you go to a party, right? What would you say to them? You would introduce yourself, right? You would say who you are. So it's the same thing, so that you really can have that conversation. You don't need more reach. You just need to have more touch points, okay? So that people can really get to know who you are. And it only takes 10 to 15 minutes a day. I know this is simple, guys, but if you do this, I promise you're going to get a lot more comments on your posts and people are going to see you a lot more, okay? All right. So why low engagement doesn't mean that you're failing. All right. Because again, this happens a lot to us, and you get discouraged, and this is not part of, this is not the idea. Um, Not all quiet posts magically lead to clients, right? In fact, most don't, but that doesn't mean that they're useless. What they are is information. They show you what your audience ignores, what doesn't resonate yet, and where your clarity might be missing, what you might need to say it in a different way. So you have to really be careful about what it is that you're putting out there. But if something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that it's useless. It just means that they didn't resonate with it yet. So you can use that information to know what will. And when you're talking to these people one on one, this is going to allow you to ask them, hey, what did you think of this post? And if they say, yeah, I just didn't understand this part, then you actually can do another post explaining what that is. So that's why the conversation that goes both ways with these 35 to 50 messages per week will allow you to create even better content, because it's not just about creating the conversations, but you're pretty much in touch with what your audience wants and needs. So you can tailor your content more based on that. So it's not about deleting things that didn't work. It's about reusing them with intention. So and let me try to give you an example. So let's say you are a nutritionist, okay? And you're talking a lot about how people should be working out and weights and exercises and that kind of stuff. But all of a sudden you see that all of these different posts are not getting the traction that you need. And all of a sudden you say, okay, I think that maybe we need to put a lot more content out there about what people are eating. And all of a sudden that content actually resonates with your audience. So you're testing all of these different things with weights, with exercises, right? Because that's what you do. But all of a sudden you get this going and you're like, wow, that post was actually great because people resonated with it. So then you go with that post and you create more similar content to that because now you know that this is working. So low engagement doesn't mean that you're failing. It's just that you're one step closer to something that actually works. So that's why you shouldn't be discouraged because you don't know when is going to be the part that people actually are going to resonate with. And just like, before, Dr. Valsin and I were talking about YouTube channels. A lot of times with YouTube, it's just about uploading and having different types of hooks and different things to see what works. But once it's like a mountain that you're building, you're building, you're building, you're building. And once you get to the top, then that's when you see that things are taking off. And then once you go down the mountain, it means that it's working, right? So it's like you're working and you're building and you're setting everything up. But a lot of people give up when they're very close to getting to something that works. And the reason for that is because they're tired, they're discouraged, they don't know if this is actually going to work for them. But you just don't know when the top of the mountain really peaks. So that's why you have to keep going. And really, what works on social media is that people don't give up. That's what it is. It's getting tougher and tougher to rank. But with these strategies, you're going to have a lot more engagement and content and actually go out and follow people and give them valuable comments. And you're going to see how many more followers you're going to get. So it's about getting to that top of the mountain to know that you're almost there so that you can actually perform and you can actually get more likes, comments, views, clients, and show to the world who you really are. Okay. Another thing that low engagement allows you to do is that even if it doesn't hit on social media, it could be that it's more personal and you can actually send an email and repurpose the post in different ways so that you can get to your audience via email. So if social media doesn't work, that doesn't mean that email didn't work. It's just that in this case, it just was something that you might need to repurpose in different ways. Another thing you can do is to turn it into a story and invite reactions without needing to like. And there's a lot of ways to do it, right? With stories so that you really see if this works or not. And you can also use it as a DM hook. Like I shared this the other day, curious if this resonates with you, just let me know. So again, you're getting feedback from the market directly, not just through metrics, because sometimes your content doesn't get shared, right? Because Facebook, Instagram, all of these different platforms, if people don't connect with your post, they're not going to share with as many people. But if people are watching, they will share it with everybody else. Remember, social media platforms want you to be on their platform for as long as possible. Okay. So, oh, here it is. So that's why you need to be consistent to repurpose this flop content into different things. So like what I said is repurpose it in an email, turn it into a story, or use it as a DM hook. If nothing works, then it doesn't resonate, and it's much better to know that you've done everything you could for this type of content to be spread because you're starting to have these conversations. And this is kind of like doing research with your audience. What is resonating with them? If nothing works, then it doesn't resonate. So then you need to switch. Just like the example I gave you with the weights, right? If I'm a nutritionist or I'm in the fitness, and I am trying to connect with my audience in a different way, what do I need to do? And just like I gave you the example, if the weights and exercise posts are not working out, then I need to switch. And maybe people want to talk about food and diets and what is going to get me more muscle than fat and all of these other things that we're looking for. Okay. So if nothing works, then it doesn't resonate. And if it doesn't resonate, it just saved you time so that you don't continue to put out posts, videos, reels, whatever, that is not going to resonate. But that's why you have to test it. And this is a never ending test. Social media, email marketing, this is a never ending funnel. If you continue to be consistent, not just in the posting part, like we've talked about, in the engagement part, then you're really going to see what works and what doesn't work. All right. Now, what is your action plan? Let's talk about that. Your job is not to go viral. Your job is to stay visible to the right people consistently. A lot of times, social media is another way of looking at the Google reviews or Amazon reviews, right? When we're looking to buy something, or let's say we want to go out to our restaurant, what is the first thing that we do? We check them out. We want to see what are the reviews saying. I'm planning a vacation, right, with my family, and I looked at the reviews of an Airbnb, and I'm like, even if it sounds great, I don't want to go there based on their reviews. But if I look at their social media, it's another way to show the type of business, the type of person, the brand that you are. So your job is not to go viral. Your job is to stay visible enough so that people want to do business with you and they want to know you a little bit more. So with that is you're gonna create one connection post. Okay, you want to make the connection first. It can be one of the types of posts that I shared with you. An offer post. Don't be afraid to sell, but don't sell every day. And usually, I try to give people kind of like a and not it's not exact, but you shouldn't be selling all the time. You definitely want to be selling at some point, maybe 20 to 30% of the time you want to sell, and 70% of the time show up yourself, make a connection post, give people a glance into what your daily life is like. People, what do you think all of these Kardashian celebrities are so famous? Because people like to see, they're curious about their lifestyle. So even if you don't think that you're unique and that you're not special, that nobody's going to want to know what it is that you're doing, people actually do. So there's something about a human being that likes to know what other people are doing. So that's why you want to sell 20 to 30% of the time, and then the other 70 do the connection post, do the other types of posts that we've talked about this in a few other classes, so that you can make that connection with your audience. All right. And then one, content reuse. So it can be an email, it can be a story, it can be follow-up, and a lot of these different types of posts you can actually reuse. So that's important, especially with AI. Now, the most important one is 2 to 3 genuine interactions with comments, replies, and DMs. But take the 10 to 15 minutes to do a little bit more. So this is just the action plan while you're posting, because this is if you actually post something and right after that you are on the platform for just a minute or two, is going to help your post a lot more. And then take 15 minutes out of your day to do the 15 minutes that we talked about. Okay. Remember that everybody starts with low engagement, but connection beats performance, and conversations turns into clients. Or if you don't have clients and you just want to build a personal brand and you're not really selling anything yet, it's really about how do you come up with authentically and with connection. So at this point, because we do have a little bit more extra time, I want to go back to the beginning, right here, and kind of explain this, why social media engagement is broken. Just a little bit more. I thought I would had to rush through it. Um, and the reason for that is because if you have 10 to 15 minutes a day, where do you go? Do you go to Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube? Like, what do you do? And the truth is that you have to remember that every single social media platform is is based on how many people are on it and consuming content at all times. That's why when you're trying to leave the platform, it asks you, "Hey, this is taking you to another link. Are you sure um you want to leave Instagram or you want to leave TikTok or whatever?" Because they want you to say, "Oh no, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna go back to Instagram." And they want you to stay there forever. Because if you stay there, they show you more ads, which that means that they can charge more people. Uh, and they want you to be engaged with their content. So the longer you are there, the better it is for them. So where are you going to be if you only have 10 to 15 minutes a day? And just pick one platform. So if you are, let's say, somebody who needs more connection, let's say on a B2B, so definitely LinkedIn is one of the places where you want to be. Especially if you're not showing a lot of reels or videos, that a lot of the LinkedIn content is more static posts. And you can actually do a lot of engagement with people by just doing a quick search and connecting with people in your market. So definitely, you want to do a lot more reach if you're a B2B service or products. If you're thinking that you do a lot more reels, that it's more about putting yourself out there with carousels, for example, then Instagram is the place where you want to be. Instagram is more for people who are services, because TikTok, now there's something called TikTok Shop that is very popular. So if you have a product that you want to sell and you want to show what it's like, then you definitely want to be on TikTok. So, and also YouTube is a search engine. So whatever you do on one platform, you can repurpose and put it all in different platforms.